stronger, so much wiser. Won't you please listen to my song? There is no way I could ever turn back now. Won't you please listen to my song? La 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 la. Listen to my song.
And welcome back to Neloscope. My name is Chris Nella. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, author, composer, and super dad. Here on Neloscope, the podcast, we empower creatives all around the world to win with their brand every day. And here on this podcast, we give life lessons, actual techniques to help you win and be the very best creative you can be. Here's the format of the show. One of the tried and true segments of the show is Indie Fire. That's where we listen to 100% no trans fat, no cholesterol, 100% independent music, and is guaranteed to be good for your soul. And another segment that ends the show is our Moments to Be Inspired By, where I share motivational quotes, lifelong lessons, and things that really empowered me and helped me get to the next level. But before we do any of that, guys, it's time for the Indie Fire segment. The Indie Fire segment is going to be from Monique Jordan. This is her very first single called My Time. It was the song that empowered women around the world. I love the song. I think you will enjoy it. And after the song, we will get into today's topic, which is do it, do it, do it till you're satisfied. We're going to talk about how to overcome being a perfectionist here on episode 5 Neloscope. But before we do that, it's time for Monique Jordan and her song, My Time. This song is available on all streaming platforms or wherever music can be downloaded. Here's Monique Jordan with My Time. Enjoy.
Might be true. See, I heard all that before, but I ain't gonna be bitter no more. Been loving everybody else, time to love myself. So you say you want my love. No, I can't settle down. I've been hurt too many times.
welcome back to the show. And that was Monique Jordan with My Time. That song is available on all streaming platforms or wherever great music can be played and downloaded. The topic for today is do it. Do it till you're satisfied. We're going to talk about on this episode how to overcome perfectionism. For those of us who are perfectionists, we're going to talk about how to overcome it on this episode of Neloscope, the podcast. Guys, I'm going to start off with the hard truth. Perfection doesn't exist. Even if it did, it's not what makes a good song. But perfection or constant pursuit of perfection in music is dangerous. As a matter of fact, I'll say it's dangerous in all fields of creation. Striving to do your best and to get better is great. But when it turns to perfectionism, it becomes a road to procrastination, self-doubt, and stress that blocks you from having true, authentic creativity. And today's podcast was inspired by Lander.com. But back to the subject, how to overcome perfectionism. Do it until you're satisfied. As an artist or creative, I'm sure that you've been paralyzed by one of these before in our constant pursuit of perfection. Fear of failing has stopped many a great creative in their tracks. Your last failure will really make you feel some kind of way and you'll cease all creativity. That last failure hit you right in the gut. And here's one that is the atomic bomb of creativity being shut down. Other people's critiques. Nella Nation, here is the truth. The sooner you learn to embrace your imperfection, how God made you, you'll be able to finish more music, you'll be able to connect on a whole different level, and you'll build your catalog much quicker. Less fear means more releases. Let's look at this from the stance of all creativity, of all creatives. Less fear means more connections daily. Less fear means more books, more pages per day, more soundtracks written, more songs produced. Less fear means more. And more means growing as a creative each and every day. So to help you make every day full of creativity, here are a couple of ways perfectionism might be holding you back as creative and how to fight the constant pursuit of perfection. Because I want you to become the incredible producer or creative you were truly meant to be. So here's number one. Here's the number one way perfectionism might be holding you back as a creative. And then we're going to talk about how to fight it. Number one, for all of my perfectionists, this is the number one thing. You always think you need just one more thing. You always think you need just one more thing. You obsess over sounds, hardware, dolls, the things you don't have, or learning that perfect method to get that mix that'll wow the world. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually sat down to create? When was the last time you actually sat down to make music? When was the last time you actually sat down to write, to draw, to paint, to cook with the gear and the knowledge that you've already accrued? When's the last time you did that? When the obsessive always gotta have, the obsessive trying to make it perfect, pursuing perfection, when the obsessive tweaking, trying to make it right time after time after time, when that becomes a way to ever avoid finishing a thing, finishing a track, finishing that play that you've been working on for 15 years, that means perfectionism has evolved into procrastination. And you've become a practicer of procrastination. And I'm not just talking about you. This is something that I struggled with for a very, 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 very long time with some serious repercussions. So I had to fight my own battle with procrastination, and I'm sharing with you some personal things that helped me. Your battle and preoccupation with the constant pursuit of perfection may be the only thing keeping you from taking more risks with your product and your craft and challenging yourself to be happy with what you already have. The gifts that God have already given you. The products and the dolls and the keyboards and the typewriters and the computers and the templates that you already have. That may be the only thing keeping you away from that one cookbook that everybody's waiting on. So here's a challenge to all my creatives. Are you listening? Turn off your inner voice for 30 minutes. Time it with your phone if you have to. Practice it. And when you start that timer and you sit down at that computer, that typewriter, or that oven, or that blank canvas, create freely. Let your fingers do whatever, tickle the iris however you feel, you understand me? Let your paintbrush do the talking. And when your timer goes off, stop. Come back to it and fix it later. But make very minimal changes. Resist everything within you to try to make this perfect. Make very minimal changes. This is how you start to practice it. This is how change begins. So what we're talking about here, we're talking about ways perfectionism may be holding you back as a creative, and we're talking about how to overcome them. We're talking about how to fight them. I'm sharing with you my own personal experiences. Again, I'm Chris Nella here on Nellascope. Let's get into number two. Number two, you never ever share because it has to be perfect. You never ever share because it has to be perfect. We've all said it 1 kabillion times. I'll share my book, I'll share my track, I'll share my painting when it's 100% perfect. Or, nah, I can't share the music with you yet. It's not finished. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, Nella Nation. Perfection doesn't exist. The closest you will ever get is excellence. Now, it's perfectly okay to want your best product out in the universe, but waiting until it's perfect before you ever share. Let me tell you what happens, and let me tell you what it leads to. Number one, never finishing your product, even though it was finished months ago, or in some cases years ago. Whenever you're waiting till it's perfect, you have some of you guys have great products, and you're literally sitting on it. I know. I had a song that was already written 5-6 years ago. I submitted it. Long story short, it was submitted in an international film festival. It was one of the finalists. Who would have thought that my song that I didn't think was good enough or perfect would be good enough? So we have to break the constant pursuit of perfection. This is just pure heart evidence that I have in my personal life. But there's good news. It's time for us as a family to redefine what it means to be finished. We have to define our own stopping point. And here's how you can do it. Here's how you can help redefine what finished is. Doing whatever product, your creative process, you should get feedback during the process, and then you will find out all the doubt and negativity that you heard on a consistent basis. It all came from your head. Letting someone you trust and respect give it a firm listening to, or to have them edit it, or to just get some thoughts and views on it. It can improve how you feel about your product because you can get a second opinion. Now, in some cases, it may not be what you want to hear. Be ready. But in probably most cases, the responses you receive will blow you away. So ask yourself, is your fear of being judged by others holding you in a prison constructed by your own doubts? Look hard into yourself. Are you in a mental prison? Because that's all it is. It's not a physical thing. Are you in a mental prison constructed by your own doubts and thoughts? Are you using your fears as an excuse to walk down procrastination road? Here are the facts. By pursuing perfection, and I said that with a sarcastic tone, you're missing out on opportunities for great learning experiences, superb feedback from other people who know and care about you, and you're missing potential collaborations. Now, this is something I want to park on for a minute. By you woodshedding, so to speak, my brother like to call it woodshedding. By you woodshedding all your information, all your knowledge, all your skills, all your songs, you are missing out on potential collaborations from people that, number one, want to work with you because they watch you. And number two, some people just want to be around other talented people. But you're missing out on that because you are always having to be Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. My recommendation for you is to drop the practice, because that's what you're doing. Drop the practice of perfection. Share early in the process, whatever you're doing. In my case, the recording process. Let somebody else hear my tracks even before it's done. You may want to share a manuscript even before it's done. Share the cookbook. Share some samples of your food. I'll take some. Share early and often in the process to find your very best product. I believe in you so much. You can do this. So number one was you think you always need just one more thing. And number two, you never share with anyone, anywhere, at any time because it has to be perfect. And here is one of the main ways that perfectionism might be holding you back as a creative, but we're going to talk about how to fight it. One of the main ways perfectionism might be holding you back as a creative. You compare your brand to other people's success. That'll always put you in the rat race to be perfect. But here's the fact, guys. There will always be people who've been on their grind longer than you. They have way more experience and life has given them different advantages. Comparing your success to someone else will hold you back. You have to learn to be you first. You have to literally learn to be you. You have to practice being you. Because Nella Nation, creative, woman, man, around the world, here is a timeless fact. And it's 1000% true. Here it is. No one alive can do you better than you do you. There's no one in the entire galaxy, universe, megaverse that can beat you at being you. Let that marinate. Regardless of what talents they have, how much money they have, they put on their pants one leg at a time. But they can never be you. So instead of setting unfair expectations you may never reach, turn your focus inwards. Look deep and hard at yourself. What are you good at? What gives you more life than anything in the world? Being good at one thing from this day forward, that's your starting point. And then work on building those skills at your own pace, not due to what the world wants you to do or not the latest fads. Do it at your own pace, not competitively, and listen to your heart and follow your creative instincts. So don't rush. Rome wasn't built in a day, so take things one step at a time. Set goals that represent you and break them down into smaller bite-sized steps. So give yourself permission to show up at your writing lab, your closet, wherever you put in work and see what happens. The fact is, you may not make anything. Your first few takes may be hot garbage. The first time you type a page or two, it might be le garbage. I think that's French for garbage. It's not, but but the fact is, you're putting the rubber to the road. One of my cousins say, instead of talking about it, be about it. And you are being about it. You're a musician. You're a creative. You're a playwright. You're an author. You're a chef, right? Keep going. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep creating. Keep making your way. One day, something phenomenal and world-changing will come out of it. And in no time, you will see that doing you and getting rid of the obsession to be perfect, that our own definition of success is easier to achieve than we think. Carpe diem, my friends. Go and be great. And now it's time for Moments to be Inspired By. On this very special edition of Moments to be Inspired By, I'm going to empower you with two of my favorite quotes. The first one comes from the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Mr. Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. And the second quote that we have is from the late, great Mark Twain. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than the ones you did. Explore, dream, discover. That was Moments to be Inspired By. That was two of my favorite quotes. I hope they empower you. I hope they get you to the very next level of your creative career. Nella Nation, Season 2, Episode 5. It's a wrap. I'd like to thank all of my listeners from around the world. Of course, here in the USA, Honduras, the Philippines, in Israel, Brazil, Ireland, Canada, Netherlands, Guatemala, Spain, Jamaica, India, Thailand, Australia, and Switzerland. And this week there's a new addition in Italy. On this episode, we talked about how to overcome perfectionism, and we gave some ways of how to fight it. Our indie fire was My Time by Monique Jordan. And again, that song is available on all streaming platforms or wherever music can be downloaded and streamed. We also shared 2 quotes on episode 5 of Moments to Be Inspired. There were 2 quotes given. I want you to make sure that you tune in next week, because next week we're going to talk about what you got. We're going to talk about the things that you already have, whether you failed or succeeded with them, the songs that you succeeded with, the books that didn't take off. We're going to talk about how to rehash those things, because nothing is ever dead. It all comes full circle. So make sure you don't miss it. It's important to me that I end every episode letting you know that I love you, but God loves you more. Let that sizzle in your spirit. It's Chris Nella. I will see you next week, and I'm gone.